Hello, Scorpio. Elsie here to give you a bonus read. Just want to say thank you, Scorpio, for all the ways that you loved on me over the last couple weeks. And I'm here with a bonus read. Look, we have a full moon coming up in your sign. So please look at the pinned comment. There is a sale on pre-recorded readings at this time, and it goes right through to the full moon. It actually goes to the 4th of May, but it goes right through the full moon, which there's going to be a bunch of changes for you. So if you need any direction, take a look at the link to Hypsee of all my packages and pricing. 10% off is for the pre-recorded readings. You get 5 to 75% off the live readings. You do have to book the lives ahead as well. All right, let's find out what's going on for you, Scorpio, my sister sign, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me what is going down for Scorpio, not just sun signs, right? Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter signs. Tell me about Scorpio. We've got the Six of Wands in the reverse. We've got the Knight of Swords. Scorpio. This gives me the energy of, you know what? If that person approaches me, they're going to get the horns. This person is going to get the straight goods. I'm just going to say it. So I'm going to try and stay out of their way. I don't think you're going out of your way to stay out of their way, but I think you're going out of your way to stay out of the spotlight, is what it feels like. It feels as though you're not avoiding them, but if they show up, it's like, come at me, bro, because I got something to say. All right. We've got the Ace of Swords. You definitely have something to say. You know what? I think this is your decision. I think that you have decided that if that person approaches you, that you will say it, and you will say it on certain terms. You'll use your intuition to decide when to do that. But I feel like the Six of Wands is telling me, look, I'm not calling it in. I'm not calling it in, but I'm not going to push it away either. If it shows up, you're going to get the swords. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. We've got the World card. Oh, by the way, my windows are open because it's a beautiful day here in the frozen tundra, which is no longer frozen, by the way. It is 70 degrees. So the windows are open. You're going to hear all sorts of street noise. Okay, so we've got the Knight of Pentacles, the World card, and the Ten of Wands in the reverse. So I feel like we're sitting waiting, is what it feels like. I think that you are waiting. Yeah, you've had a long time to think about this. That's what it feels like. You've had a bit of time to think about this, Scorpio, about what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. I don't know that you're going to be not diplomatic about it, but I feel like you have questions. Why did the cycle change? Why did it end? What did that accomplish? What did you stopping speaking to me accomplish? What did blocking me accomplish for you? It feels like the Knight of Pentacles tells me you've had a long time to reassess the situation. So this means that I feel like there has been something that has fallen off the shelf with you and somebody else. It doesn't have to be romantic. There isn't anything here that tells me that it is romantic. Oh, well, I guess the Ace of Cups is in the reverse, and so is the Wheel of Fortune. Look, I feel like whatever went down, it was emotional, and it was emotional for you, I think. But it feels as though something went down and it wasn't supposed to go down at the time that it did. I'm just going to give you a sort of a scenario. Maybe you met somebody. Maybe something happened between you two. Maybe there was things that happened between you two, and it was the wrong time. It was bad timing. It feels like this was not the destined thing. It was bad timing, I'm going to say, with the Ace of Cups in the reverse. I don't think you were emotionally available. I don't think that you were ready for it. It just happened like that. But I think that something went bad. It feels like all of a sudden one person blocked the other. The end of the chapter came, and now I've had a long time to think about it. So I feel like this person is probably within your friend group, or this is somebody who you might see at work, or it feels like you are going to be crossing paths with them again, and you've had a time to think about it, and I feel like you've decided you're not going to approach them to speak about it, but if they approach you, they're going to get the swords. So Ten of Wands is here. This is for me, the Ten of Wands is holding it in. I haven't quite unburdened myself from the situation. It feels like where you're feeling a little bit burdened is that you keep thinking about it, reassessing it, the situation. What am I going to say? What I should have said, or what I will say if I see them again. It feels like there will be a conversation. I'm just saying, after the ending, it feels like there will be a conversation, and one of you has blocked the other. I'm not going to say who is who, but it feels like the reason it happened this way is because the Wheel of Fortune is in the reverse. I feel like somebody wasn't willing to change, or somebody needed a lesson in order to change, but it just wasn't the right time. Let's talk about the Knight of Swords, because I feel like you've thought about what you're going to say for a while. And I feel like if they approach you, you are the Knight of Swords. You're just going to say it. You don't really care how they feel about it. You're just going to say it. So what are you going to say? You've got a long time to look at all the details, gather more information, do the CSI thing on the whole situation. We've got the Strength card. So I feel like you're going to say it with courage. You're going to say it with conviction. But I also feel like I said, I don't think that you're going to seek them out, find them across the room, and give them what for. You're going to wait for them to approach you. And if they approach you, they're going to get it. We've got the 10 of Pentacles here. And we've got the Star. I'm going to say that that you have better places to put your time, effort, energy, or money. The thing is, though, I think that you felt hopeful about the future with this person, that they would be a really good friend, or that we would continue to have, connection of some sort. I don't know what happened here, and maybe it's romantic, maybe it's not, but I'm being honest with you. I don't see any cups, so it does feel like it could be a rift between friends or in a friend group. But it feels like the Star energy here tells me that for the first time, this whole situation sort of puts you in a place where now you feel very vulnerable about the future. Like what do I mean? Vulnerable. You feel hopeful about the future, but I also feel like whatever this was cracked you open and now makes you feel a little less willing to trust people, is what it feels like here. Tell me why the Six of Wands is in the reverse, because I think this is you staying out of the spotlight, which means I don't think that you're like, hey, over here. I don't think you're doing that. Tell me about the Six of Wands. We've got the Ace of Wands. Yeah, I think your walls are up. I think you will stand up for yourself should this person approach you. The Tower's here. Ooh, it's going to shift everything. Yep, I agree. And then we've got the Justice card. Yeah. So it feels like the only way that you feel you're going to get your justice is if something changes. If this person comes to you and wants to speak with you, you will stand up for yourself. You will say what you've got to say. And I feel like that's the only way that you feel like you get your justice, is if everything switches up. I feel like you will cross paths with this person again, because I feel like they're in your world or in your wheelhouse. Do you know what I mean? They either work with you, you see them on the commute, they might be part of a friend group. It feels like you are going to see this person again. I think really ultimately what you want is you want justice. You want to know what happened. Why did you block? Why did you, or maybe they want to know, why did you block? Why did you make the decision to end the cycle when all I was doing is sitting back with reassessment? I didn't know what to do from here. Maybe you're somebody who was in a long-term relationship and all of a sudden that long-term relationship stopped and this is all foreign to you. But I feel like you're carrying around a bit of a burden, and it really doesn't feel like a burden, if you know what I mean. Like it feels like you're holding back, but it feels like you can't let this go until something is spoken of. So tell me about the Ace of Swords. Let's talk about that. Until we talk about it, I feel like you're going to hold it in. That's what it feels like, because you really can't let anything go. Ooh, I think you're protecting someone by not saying anything. You know what I mean? When the King of Swords shows up, the King of Swords is not scared to face anybody. You might have an Aquarius energy in your moon rising, or maybe you're a sun Aquarius and you're here because this might be your moon rising Venus or Jupiter. But when the King of Swords shows up, I got something to say. You know what? I don't care if you're disappointed with me. I don't care how you take it. I'm going to spit facts. I'm going to bring receipts. I'm going to say all the truth. I'm not going to be accusatory. I'm just going to set the bar straight. I'm just going to tell you exactly what's going on in my head. If you approach me and you talk to me, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. I don't care if I cut you. I'm just going to give you the straight goods. And I'm not covering that in sugar. Nope. I'm just going to say the facts. So then I can finally move forward. So I think that the Ten of Wands is here because it almost feels like I need to resolve this before I can move forward. Look, I feel like you are going to discipline your words. I feel like with the Chariot being water energy, Cancer energy, I feel like you are going to discipline your words, but you are going to spit the straight facts. I think that you're just going to say it. And we've got the Lovers here. Yeah, I think you're going to say, yeah, I guess that was a choice. Yeah, I really do feel that you thought that something here could transpire. Maybe they thought something could transpire, but something broke down in the communication. Do you understand what I mean? It feels like something broke down in communication. Somebody here stepped back. So took a break, wasn't sure, needed to process, not really sure what's going on. And before you know it, boom, the door was closed. And so now I think that you're in this place with the Knight of Pentacles where you're reassessing, could I have done better? Could they have done better? It feels like it happened so quickly that I don't think you had time to react, honestly. You didn't have time to say anything. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles. And please understand that if it was you, I think that you stepped back because you had to reassess it, right? That's a fixed sign thing, or people who don't like to make decisions on the spot. Step back because I need to look it over first before I decide if I'm going to move forward or not. And I think that in between that, somebody got offended and just hit the switch and decided that they were going to make the decision to just stop talking. So I feel like you have thought about this ad nauseum. I feel like there's no points that you missed, I'm going to say. There's no points that you missed. You've got all the data. You've gone over the details. You've reassessed it to death. And I feel that the 9 of Wands is telling me you're exhausted from all of that. The Hermit energy is here. I feel like you're trying to heal from it. And, depending on how you feel about it, maybe you wanted it, maybe you didn't, but the fact that it ended this way it made you feel vulnerable to the future. Like, is this the way dating is? I'm just going to say to you, I'm in my late 50s, that's the way dating is. We've got the Two of Pentacles. Tells me here that you went into this Hermit energy because I feel like you were in a wobbly place. You weren't able to make a decision about whether you should rebuild this, try and contact or anything, and I feel like you were just burnt out from thinking about it. So I do think the Hermit energy, maybe this whole thing threw you into a dark night of the soul. Really taking a look at yourself and what you did to contribute to it, because really that is the psychologically stable way of looking at it. What did I contribute to the situation? Not you did this to me, but rather, is there something I could have done better? And if you come to the conclusion that you couldn't have done any better than you did, then you're good to go. Talk about the World card. I feel like you wanted to go to the next level. The Four of Wands was here on the bottom of the deck, but I don't think it worked out that way. I don't think somebody gave you time really to think about it. Tell me about the World card, please. We've got the Devil. You think that was a toxic way to handle it. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, we could have worked on it possibly. Somebody here hit the trigger too quick. Somebody triggered. Look, maybe this person, maybe their biggest trigger or their core wound is rejection. And maybe with you going to silence to try and think about it, they felt triggered. You know what I mean? It probably was something that you didn't know was within them. Tell me about the Eight of Pentacles. We've got the King of Cups. Well, there it is. The thing is that you do have this stoicism about you, right? I feel like you didn't show anything on the surface, that maybe they felt that you were acting coldly toward them. But I don't think that's how it was for you. I think that you were trying to decide if you wanted to give your cup or not. You were trying to decide if there was value here. Is there real value here? Because Scorpio, when you're all the way in and you don't step back. So I feel like it's a bigger decision for you than it may have been for this other person. And it feels like you are overthinking it, reassessing it. I feel like you were, yes, a little bit stoic when the situation happened. But I feel like this could be for reasons of, everybody they know. Like the Eight of Pentacles tells me maybe you're in a group like where you volunteer, or maybe you're in a group where you work together, or maybe you're in a group. I feel like that you as the King of Cups here, Scorpio energy, I feel like you are somebody who feels like if I can't do it perfect, then I'm not even going to attempt it, because the perfectionism is with the Eight of Pentacles, right? Virgo energy. So the Devil energy is here. And so I think that you were scared of getting hurt. I think you didn't act right away because you were scared of getting hurt and you wanted to think about it. But I think in the meantime, somebody closed the door. Maybe they thought you were showing toxic behavior just by being very stoic after, because it feels like something happened between you two. You got really close, intimately close. So maybe you went on a date. Maybe you kissed each other. Maybe you spent some really quality time together, and then all of a sudden nothing. But I think you really had to reassess it and think about it. So I feel like you're carrying this around until which time you see this person again, because I feel like you will, in fact, cross paths with them. We do have the Nine of Cups. We have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Eight of Cups. I feel like even if you don't cross paths with them, I feel like you'll come to a place where you're comfortable on the inside and the outside, feeling like I'm responsible for building my own happiness. I feel like moving forward would be the thing that you want to do. That would be kind of a wish fulfillment thing. But I also feel like if you are moved to disconnect or detach because you're not going to settle for all of this gameplay, then I think that it's time for you to just release it and let it go. Look, there is a full moon coming up in your sign on the 1st of May. So possibly you're in this think tank Possibly you're thinking about how can I heal myself? Maybe you're in this place right now of going back and forth and back and forth, and maybe you're not going to release it until the full moon shows up on the 1st. Let's talk about what your advice is, Scorpio, in this bonus read. What is Scorpio's advice? 4 Swords, do your healing, friend. Make sure that you are good with you, because you're the only person at the end of the day that you got to live with. Make sure that you are good with you. We've got 4 Swords, 5th in the hand of the Knight of Swords, and then the 6th here is the Ace of Swords. You have an option to move on and get out of the chaos of your mind. You do have the option to do that and move to a calmer place. We have the 5 of Swords. We have the Page of Wands. So I feel like you are arguing with yourself in the mind. It does feel like that. But I also feel as though you are setting yourself up for, if that person approaches me, I'm going to let them know exactly what's going on. That's what the 5 of Swords says. You know, I'm just going to say what I got to say, and if they walk away, they walk away. I don't really care, but I'm just going to be honest about it. I feel like you should try and heal the mind before that happens. The Page of Wands is here that's saying, you know what? I think there's still an attraction. I still think there's a little bit of a fire. And I feel like you probably will say something pretty sharp to them. And when I see the 5 of Swords next to anything fire, I don't think you're really going to give them the gears or yell at them or do any of that, but I think you're going to have a sharp tongue. I think that the Page of Swords tells me you're going to be a little bit snarky, a little bit sarcastic, which is what I love about you, because I'm that way as well. You're going to say something, right, that is, oh, look who's back. All of a sudden you're ready to talk. You know, something like that. It feels like you're going to be a little bit sharp with your words. We do have the 3 of Pentacles. It does feel like that this person is part of a network. They're part of your community, or there's somebody who's in your wheelhouse. Understand, there's somebody who you've met through a friend of a friend. They could be part of a pentacle-like friend group where, you know, we're not talking about anything but just partnerships, right? People teaching people. I feel like that this person is willing to talk about it practically, like in practical terms, that I feel like you want to trust them. Collaboration, cooperation. If they come to you, and you're not unreasonable, I don't think you're being unreasonable, Scorpio. If they come to you with a reasonable reason as to why they did what they did, or you can offer a reasonable reason as to you did what you did. I don't know who's the perpetrator here, so you can decide. But it feels like we can probably rebuild this. I don't think it's over completely. I think the chapter is over, the cycle is over, but I feel like you can rebuild this if you want to. And you're not all going to want to, because ultimately you were rejected. You feel rejected. You feel like I gave you emotional energy. I sacrificed my time for you. I got my perspective. If you're going to reject me, then I don't need that. I think that you did see the potential here. But I feel like, I don't know if you're going to carry on with it here. You might rebuild it as a friendship, but that's probably as far as it's going to go for you. I'm going to leave this right here. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I do appreciate you in the best way. Thank you so much for loving me, and thank you for your thumbs up if that's what you did with your time here. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back, because I'm always back. Love you, Scorps. Bye-bye.